Wow, we are jumping right in here, and the names on the marquee not correct. We've got, unless it's both people being James on burn, we've got a Riftbolt suspended. And this is going to be a very life total centric match. Very often in Magic, life totals are pretty much irrelevant. It's more like what direction the tides are going and kind of an inevitability. You get an advantage with something like Oko on board and just continue leveraging that. And it doesn't matter if your opponent's at 20 or 30 or 40, like you're just going to get there eventually. Now, that is often the case, but burn, that is not at all how it works. You are always within a few quick spells from death once this game kind of gets rolling. Fire Blast gives unpredictability. 0 mana spells can be difficult to account for. And James getting to the point where you could potentially double Fire Blast. Monastery Swiftspear taken down with a Chain Lightning, and a Eidolon of the Great Revels shows up. Now this card's going to make it so any spell that either player plays is going to cost 2 and now 4 because there's 2 Eidolons. That is... I'm trying to think if there's any way that you can use that with the stack. Active player, non-active player. And Eidolon turning sideways. After the Eidolon on the left has been cleared. Kind of reminiscent of Ugin, but it's feathered. That's actually a bird, not a dragon. Not sure what art that is. Lion's Eye Diamond on the right side of the screen. Bit of a swerve for burn. And Exquisite Firecraft. A card that at this point is main deckable for burn, being able to actually punch through those final points of damage. Little break in the action there. I'm glad OBS can pause now. Used to have to like completely scrap a video when somebody came into the shop. Now I can actually pause it, so definitely an improvement. A lot of mountains here. Could enable some unpredictable finishes with like double Fire Blast. That's something you always got to look for. But overall, at this stage of the game, it's pretty much just pedal to the metal. You've got to get that opponent out of there as fast as possible. A Goblin Guide. Turns sideways. Reveals a Lightning Bolt for James. This Eidolon of the Great Revels can serve to kind of pump the brakes, potentially as a blocker. Ooh, Sulfuric Vortex. That's going to speed up the game one way or another. And actually, that's going to do it. It looks like that was enough damage to actually push through the win on the left side of our screen. I'm not sure that this is actually James. I apologize if the person on the left is not named James. Jumping right in here with Goblin Guide, revealing some burn off the top of the deck. Not too much of a surprise there. The deck pretty much entirely lands, burn, and a couple of support creatures here. Monastery Swiftspear and now Goblin Guide. This time revealing what looks to be an Exquisite Firecraft. A little bit slow for this matchup. Ooh, and Searing Blood. That's a strong one. KOing the Monastery Swiftspear and pushing through some damage. As Team Goblin Guide taking a bit of an advantage early. Another Swiftspear. And James lightning bolting the opposing Goblin Guide, swinging in for 2. Leaving himself potentially vulnerable to another Searing Blood, but the fact that that wasn't snap cast does kind of indicate that that may not be in James's hand. And an Eidolon of the Great Revels. taxing both players' life total for any spell that costs 3 or less, creatures included. Tell you, probably the most disappointed I've ever seen somebody with Eidolon of the Great Revels was a vintage tournament where my opponent played a Eidolon of the Great Revels on the first turn off of their Mox Ruby, and I was on a Storm list and proceeded to just play 9 spells and then a Tendrils of Agony. They were very disappointed. Didn't seem like they could possibly lose. Literally did nothing to stop me. Monastery Swiftspear. Pretty happy to bluff, but I don't know if James is really feeling it. Doesn't seem it. An Exquisite Firecraft. Looks like it's going upstairs. No, actually going to take out the Eidolon and swing for 2. Lava Spike. James's life total, I think, at 5. An Exquisite Firecraft and Swiftspear. Turning sideways for 2 more damage. Eidolon. We've got a Fiery Islet that could potentially draw into some type of answer. Mercifully doesn't require any type of life loss, unlike a Ponder or Brainstorm here. Any type of cantrip normally would cost some life, making it not the best value, but Fiery Islet looking pretty good, giving a draw towards something helpful. Though if James is at 5 life, that is super dangerous territory. You could just die in response to a lightning bolt, or die in response to just about anything, thanks to lightning bolt. Try and Lava Spike your opponent. Eidolon triggers, let that resolve, then bolt you. Really going into the think tank. I am almost curious if there's technical difficulty, but I can see the shadows on the other side, so really thinking this through. Burn is often kind of poked at as a deck that doesn't require too much decision making. I'm not going to lie, the difference between a great Burn player and a novice is pretty significant. I mean, it's actually the difference between winning and losing so often. I think we actually are having technical difficulties there. Oh, thank goodness we can jump forward here with the OBS, and that Exquisite Firecraft, as feared, is responded to with a Fire Blast. So it's going to be a game apiece. Exquisite Firecraft triggering that Eidolon. Fire Blast closing the window as burn on burn. Oh, James, so the left side of the screen won the first game, so that's actually the match. Sorry about that. I was expecting a third game there. So yeah, Fire Blast closing that out, just that extra range. Such an unpredictable card. You always have to be concerned about it, but you can't always play around it. That is all for this one, but don't worry, there is a lot more You can check out our older videos, and we're always putting out new videos from ELD's Time Vault games in Bellingham, Massachusetts. If you want to help the channel, of course, you can like, subscribe, share, tap that notification bell so you can know the next time our new videos come out. Thanks for watching.